Welcome to Dallas. The local time is 11:27.
We're going to the American Reflection Lounge. Let's go.
We'd like to be the first to welcome you to London Heathrow. Our approximate time is 6:33 a.m.
Oh, fast track. Let's go.
Well, a very warm welcome to Nairobi, where the local time here is 2 hours ahead of London. So, just coming up to 9:20 in the evening.
How long did it take? 1.5 hours. Yes, we're going tomorrow morning. Or 139. Good morning. Bye bye. Good morning. We're at Wilson Airport. Check-in area. That's it. The end. All people group. And that's our plane.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to board a flight service to Masai Mara on aircraft registration 5YCDK.
Hello. You?
So let's occupy the front seats.
Our very first stop will be Mara North Airstrip. Second stop, Mara Old Jumbo Airstrip. And our then internal stop, Mara Kisok Airstrip. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another internal stop in Mara. This is Mara Kisok Airstrip.
Malaysia, my name is Eric. You're Gideon. You know what, guys?
Let's go. everybody is welcome, so that you can come back home. Thank you.
My good friend.
Hey, thank you. Cheers. All right, for a good start. Let's go to the lodge right now. Oh, it's a cold plunge. Okay. Cool. It works. Perfect.
Welcome.
All right.
Happy birthday first.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Allow me to just take a drink about the room.
Yes, yes.
Here we have a gin and also Irish petit. On this side we have a coffee if you wish to make a coffee, but we also provide full room service.
Okay.
Inside here we have soup drinks. So take as much as you
Enjoy.
Inside here we have a sink.
Okay.
So also we have an insect repellent. On this side we have a shower and also we have outside shower.
Yes.
Fancy, fancy.
Very private.
Oh, okay. We're the only ones here, so nobody's gonna see us.
At the end,
Just
yes.
the monkeys. But don't worry.
They won't tell.
Okay.
What's wrong with side?
Okay.
Here we have a big
Okay.
Then also here we have a laundry bag and laundry list.
Mm-hmm.
Propose every day.
How many? Well,
Five.
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 So for both of you, 10.
10. Okay.
Have umbrellas in case and yoga mat.
Okay.
Sometimes it rains.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't predict the rain because sometimes it just rains.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to use the
All right.
here is your luggage.
Okay.
More space for you to bring your clothes.
Okay.
And also in case you need any assistance in the room, please you just dial 0.
Zero.
You'll find there Kennedy or Delma.
Okay. That one. Okay. Okay.
So you are highly welcome.
Thank you.
Free. Bye. See you later.
Very nice garden.
This is the spinach.
Cabbage. The cabbage. Celery. Lemon. Okay. Right. It's a whole group of them.
30 of them.
They better not come up here. I will run away immediately.
down a solid.
Oh, look at that on his legs.
You don't want to get
That's so cute.
his front wet.
This is just running.
Whoa, and there's, look at the baby on the back. Look at the one on the back. You see the one on the back?
Oh, it's climbing.
Oh.
Oh my god.
So this now this male has got a lot to do because he has to make sure all these females are together. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten upset with the car?
Oh, look, he's peeing. I mean, they have to coexist. They are aggressive.
We didn't get it too long.
But I feel like they're out of breath already.
That one jumps pretty high.
What? Good morning. It is 6:07 and this is the outside. It's not bright yet. Let's see what's outside. It's chilly. It's a little chilly. Oh, look at that, so pretty. Morning. It's the moon. And that's the sunrise. And that's the river.
Good morning.
Good morning. All good?
Pretty good.
Chicka chicka chum chum. Let's go. Where's my truck? Okay. What are you doing? It's like, do my armpit. Hello, my armpit. Hi. It's like, what are you doing? The wild fish.
Zebras are very cheetahs. So they're telling you? Check. Oh. Wow, oh my god.
Yeah, hyena.
You know how to steal the food.
Easy catch.
You know the catch. Wait. Take it.
Yeah, because hyena knows.
Oh no, it's running. It's running. It's running.
Yeah.
It pretended.
Now the limits. Thank you, Aida.
Oh, hyena comes.
It's not even running full speed, the hyena. It's trying to conserve energy.
Yeah, all it is to tire out the. Oh, look, they're coming.
Cheetahs are watching. Oh, here comes the cheetah.
Oh, that cheetah's trying to run off the hyena.
Yeah, of course.
It's mine.
They will get it.
Where are you going? Oh no.
It's cutting hair.
Oh, I got it. Oh my god.
Yeah, I got it. There it
Oh
is.
my goodness.
Got that time. That's it.
She does like, you freaking tired. Still nothing. Oh. 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 Ariana's running. Ariana's, oh. That's mine, meal. It's breakfast time. Yep, it's all mine. Yeah, this is our breakfast spot. Oh, stretch. Stretch. So
Just one road, and then you see them.
wow.
They're feeding. Yeah, eating.
That one's naughty.
And they mostly do this during the day, or will they also eat? The vultures, will they eat at night? No, they wait until the day.
This is where they clean the little bit.
This is the leftovers. I'm getting on you. You are going away. Get on mine. Get on mine. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That is a feisty one.
Their
So are
family.
they brothers?
Yes, are brothers.
Look at you, cutie pie. Oh, this is amazing. That car is not starting up.
Car is in trouble.
These are not chihuahuas.
That's not yours. Covering.
Tell them if they can do a quick sprint.
We're in.
It'd be so funny if the lions understand like Swahili or something, right? They'd be like,
Pole, pole.
Oh, what's going on here? Is it lion? Rescuing these people. Oh, ikabaos. Oh, you've been rescued.
It's like fire coming from the sky, right?
because I'm a black kitty.
Yeah, where the.
Night safari. It's almost like a night safari. Good morning.
Good morning. Did you have the breakfast?
Not
about
yet.
to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Hey, baby. Yeah, you really don't have to. Cornflakes. What's my cornflakes? Scrambled eggs, hash brown, pancake, noodles, cottage cheese.
He knows exactly what you're already doing.
So they explained it in a very educational way that everyone
You
can
got a
understand.
blanket.
Yeah.
It's good.
They look real nice, like head on.
They will work on the territory, within their territory. back. The social structure is well arranged. Is the tail?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Coming down, coming down, coming down.
Oh, yep. You can see it. Boom! Oh, got it, got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah.
Very good.
Zoomed in.
Very good. Coming down, coming down, coming down. They are very playful. I think when one of their own comes there, they're gonna be playing.
Oh, yeah.
Wing up again. Wing up again.
Look at him.
Yeah. Is it going up or down?
It's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, just playing.
Now it's going up.
It's wing up, wing up, wing up.
Oh, got it. Yes.
Đây. The bell is big, eh?
Yeah.
You spread the food, she's also pregnant, eh?
Oh my god.
The video wanna plant.
It's a little bacon.
Yeah. Little bacon, eh?
Keep it up.
The tail high.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Follow me side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, follow me, follow me.
I saw it. Yeah.
So my legs are short. Wait.
only these are actually tough.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
They're more of like omnivorous.
Little picnic table or chair.
Exalted.
You are in Kenya. Now go over to Tanzania. You're in Tanzania now. Yeah, you're in Serengeti. This is Masai Mara.
Also?
Oh, go ahead. That's the nun.
Wewe umejipata kilo 7? Haina noma, wewe sasa peleka mwingine akuja kahawa. Utapakaje sasa?
Oh, it's already starting to
Nakwambia,
get
leo
hot.
taruba achana yeye. Leo namuelewa leo achana yeye.
It's so funny. Oh my god.
He said share. There might be like a little bit more, but she can like chill and take it.
A long time.
Just hold on, eh?
Okay. We made it. Oh, oh. Good. How are you? Thanks for setting all this up. It's amazing.
For us, the site initially, sitting by the fire.
So we've got the private dining, baby. Thank you.
That will have to take you through that whole process of supervision and everything. So that will be like your trainer.
Okay. It's kind of like who.
So when you
I knew this was coming.
Jumbo, Jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa. Mara mara, hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. Jambo bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa. Mara hakuna matata.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daniel. Happy birthday to you.
Make a wish.
Make a wish. I like the song.
Make a wish.
Make a wish. Well, for another 40 more. Yes.
40 more plus more.
Yes, the 40.
4 zeros. It's actually supposed to be 400. You forgot the zero. Actually, this is from us, the team, the hippos, the lions. They actually.
I legit thought that was hippos coming.
I heard that. We were like,
what's going on?
got our attention.
Those are actually elephants. Wishing you all the best and many more to come.
Yes.
We don't take this opportunity for granted for you choosing JW Marriott to be your second home. Before the bridge, you were guest. Past the bridge, now your family. We wish you many more to come. And this is just to wish you more healthy times. Don't count the years, count the connections.
Yes.
Happy more.
Yes.
Asante
Thank you very
sana.
much.
Thank you
Karibu
so
sana.
much. This
More
is
than
amazing.
welcome. Kata, 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 sio gapi? Watoto, kata, 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 sio gapi? Kata, kata, kwani sio gali? Kata, kata, tudugo, 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 mabe, 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 mabe,
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Having breakfast, and this is the view. No, it's terrible. Alright.
Your driver.
Thank you all.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on this landed at Addis Ababa Ethiopia, Bole International Airport.
Let's go to the lounge.
Probably just mine. Shouldn't take.
Let's go. Yeah, what's that?
Half past 4 a.m.
Stop. Bye bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Washington Dallas International Airport, United States of America. The local time is 5 minutes to 9 a.m.